What's up everyone, this is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Z Trunks figure. Another fan favorite, one of my favorites as well, and boy oh boy, this guy has a lot of stuff. He has more accessories than Master Roshi has nosebleeds. He's got so much stuff, such a good value at retail price. This guy was floating at retail for a long time, and then all of a sudden, just right up the charts, right up the scale. He's worth a pretty penny right now. Oh, that's part of the sculpt. Looked like a hair. And he's a pretty good figure. Is he perfect? No, but he is pretty darn good. I've heard some people say, I don't know where these people come up with these ideas, that he's going to be a reissue as a Comic-Con exclusive. I doubt that very much. It's possible. I'm not going to say it won't happen, but I really doubt it. I think he'll get a reissue, but it's silly to do a reissue as an exclusive, I think. So we'll see. Alright, he stands roughly, let's get the hips up where they belong. He stands about 5¼ inches tall to the top part of his hair, and that's with his normal head. We also have this one. We actually get some interchangeability between the purple hair and the Super Saiyan hair, so that's really nice. And he has alternate faces for each head independently, so that's pretty cool. Mine, there's not as much yellow on these front parts as I would like. It's a fairly common thing, but I could have had a little bit of better luck, I think. Oh well. So let's look at the alternate faces for this one. This is just the standard, not much going on look. Slight smile, but not too much. This is like the same look, slightly furrowed brow, and no smile at all. Nicely painted, not quite accurate, but nicely painted. This one is the looking forward, open mouth, maybe yelling, maybe talking face. Looks pretty good. And this one is the looking to the slight side with your teeth gritted face. Looks pretty good. Now for the Super Saiyan, we have the smirky face, a little bit reminiscent of Vegeta there. Then we have the teeth gritted, looking slightly to the side face. Then we have the furrowed brow, small mouth kind of face. And we have the yelling or talking face. So basically the same sets of faces for either head. So that's pretty cool. It's a total of 8 faces, 2 heads. We do have the sword, which is pretty nice. Nicely done. It's a nice silver color. Not any shading going on for the wrap, but it's sculpted pretty well, so that's nice. And we do have the sword that looks like this. And a lot of people, I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say this is because of the time it broke. No, it's not. It really isn't. It's simply made to fit in this. That's all. Because it's not made to fit in. The whole sword doesn't fit. It's not even open. That's as far as it'll go in. The only reason we have this is to fit it in here. Sure, you can pretend that it broke, but it's like that to fit in the scabbard. Which it does, and that pegs into his back. You can see the peg on there, pegs into the back right there, and then it loops around and snaps in. So that's a pretty good accessory. It pegs in nice and firmly. Loop that around, tuck it under. It gets kind of tight, but it does reach. You have to give it a little stretch, give it a little bend. If I had a nickel for every time I heard that. And there you have it. So is it perfect? Maybe not, but it's pretty good. I do like it. They did paint the buckle. Buckles on this guy are both kind of sloppy, but they are painted, so I'll give them that. And it looks pretty good. Okay, so let's look at the hands he comes with, because oh man, he has a lot of hands too, which is a good thing for a figure, but it gets a little monotonous in a review, so bear with me here. We have 2 fist hands. We have 2 sword gripping hands, which of course is important. That's not, well here, let me point something out here while we're looking at the gripping hands. So we have 2 hands that have this shaped opening. There's kind of a flat side, kind of not. And then on this one, it's another one that's a slightly different shape. So I'm not entirely sure what's up with that. Maybe it's to hold the strap for the scabbard. I don't know. I'm not sure. If anybody knows, or even if anybody wants to guess, that's fine. go ahead and put it in the comment section, because I'm not sure what the difference is effectively. I can see that it's shaped differently, but I don't know why. So if anybody wants to have a guess at that, go for it. We have these hands here, open palm, fingers together. We have these hands, which is an open palm, fingers apart, obviously, kind of flared out. We have these hands here with the two fingers out, kind of curled. We have the more relaxed open palm hands, fingers slightly apart, individual sculpts there, so that's cool. And then lastly, we have the thumbs up, thumb sideways, and thumbs down hand. All sculpted nicely. So many options, great playability there. So I do like that. As far as paintwork goes, we have a little bit of shading on the gray, a little bit of shading on the blue, no shading on the black, decent paint on the belt other than the buckles, and okay paint on the boots. Not the best. I've seen better for sure. Alright, and we do have the Capsule Corp logo, but that looks pretty good because that's not an actual paint job, nothing on that side. Let's take this off so we can have a proper look at the figure. The head, just like every other Figuarts head, ball peg here for the head to snap into, and then it's hinged and it swivels in the neck. Mine doesn't want to swivel right now, but it can swivel, I promise. No articulation in the neck, probably because it didn't work most of the time anyway, so they just got rid of it to make it look better, which is fine by me. Shoulders, a slightly different design, kind of hard to show you. You still essentially have a ball peg that goes into the torso that connects to a ball hinge for the shoulder. You can see the hinge there. It's, like I said, it's a slightly different design. And then they just made the bicep swivel connect to a piece that kind of caps over, so it's all one sculpt here, it caps over the ball hinge itself to hide the joint. And that's pretty effective. The other design wouldn't have worked well with this guy, so they did a pretty good job with that, and it's pretty effective. I do like that. We have double jointed elbow, really good range of motion. The wrist, same as the neck. Slightly different design here since it's not a traditional peg, but we do have the hinge and the swivel. Mine's really stiff, apparently doesn't really want to swivel, but it can do it. Again, I promise. We have a torso joint, a diaphragm joint up here in the upper torso. That gives us a bit of an ab crunch. It does go side to side and rotate, just not too much of a rotation. Then we have our other joint down here. It doesn't extend like the other ones have, but it does have a decent range of motion. It leans pretty far forward, especially when you combine the two, pretty far back. Side to side, not a huge amount, but decent. We do get a waist twist. The belt is a separate piece, and it hides that articulation pretty nicely. The hips, slightly different design, just on the technical side. We still have the hinged ball peg, so you can drop those down, bring them really far forward. That works nicely. Really far to the side. Not completely, can't do the complete splits, but pretty close. So ball peg in the socket, and then we have a swivel right there. Double jointed knees. He does have a kneecap. We needed a kneecap for a long time. I'm not sure they implemented it as well as they could have. It's still kind of ugly, but it does look better for sure, and it gets a good range of motion. So I'm pretty pleased with that. We have a bit of a different design for the ankles here. It's a ball hinge this time, but we still don't have the greatest range of motion. I mean, he does have some range of motion, and you can rotate it around to get a nice ankle rocker. So it is nice. I do like that they incorporated that, but it's still not great, and it's one of those ones that has the rivet showing. So I don't know, it's just, I think they could have done better, and I think they will continue to do better as they go. That's just the way Bandai does their stuff. And then we have the toe hinge. Not my favorite toe hinge. We have that flat piece that sticks out right there, and it doesn't have the greatest range of motion. So it's, again, it's not a perfect figure, but it's still pretty darn good, and if you're not into customizing or modifying stuff, you will be just fine with it. If you are, then you can make it even better, but it's definitely not necessary to enjoy the figure. So I do recommend it 100%. And just before we go, I'll pop this head off, pop this head on so you can have a look at it, and then we will call it a wrap. So there it is. There is Trunks. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.